And if we were talking about who's a more successful rapper, that's normally people assume it's a 1-to-1 ratio of, well, you're a better rapper, so more people will like you. So if you're more successful, you're a better rapper. That's false. That's a false logic. It's shaky logic at best, right? Because just because I'm trying to think of a good example. Like I personally think Busta Rhymes is one of the best, right? One of the greatest, easily. But at the same time, if you look at commercial success, there's like plenty of rappers who are technically, and I mean on a technical level, not like technically, like on a technical level, worse rappers than Busta because of how fast he can rap, how eloquent he is. There are people who cannot rap as well as him, who are more successful than him. And I feel like personally, I don't know too many people who have Busta in a top 10, if let alone a top 5. Honestly, and I feel like you really only hear about Busta Rhymes in the same conversation as Twista and Tech Nine, and if you're a little younger, Logic, and right. It really does. Because I feel like he deserves to be in. I don't even want to call it the Mount Rushmore conversation. That's just what people have been calling it recently. But I feel like he deserves to be in that conversation. Maybe he doesn't deserve like the top spot, but like deserves to be in the conversation as far as what he has contributed. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because what a lot of people, like I've been telling you, man. And another thing too about our generation, they're very uneducated on hip hop.
Right. I feel like there's so much history now that it's kind of for people who barely care. Like if it's just music to them and it's not culture to them, there's no reason for them to look back into like where the Amen break came from or where hip hop originated, like shit like that, unless you're really into music production or really into like the origin of sampling and shit like that. Like there is a reason why Kanye for me is as high up in the pantheon as he is, right? Off of production and the story behind the tracks, like the actual cultural relevance behind the music. But at the same time, I am not going to use Kanye's history to justify current actions. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like if Kanye, if shit happens and people are upset or people are saying, yo, Jesus King was so-and-so, or, you know, such and such, I'm not going to be like, yeah, but you remember Through the Wire? Like, I'm going to be aware of the current conversation and, you know, right. But it is a little bit difficult to hear people talking about the culture in a way that is completely ignoring the history. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I get irritated when people don't, especially our generation, that when they say, oh, this should be your top 10 and stuff like that. I mean, like I told you, I don't like ranking. I hate I hate doing it. But like when you talk about a lot of these rappers, like Busta Rhymes deserves his respect. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He was the remix killer, the feature killer before it was prominent in the 2000s. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. That's facts.
In the 90s, bro, like dude was on everybody's shit. Mm-hmm. Giving the hardest verses ever.
Absolutely. And I feel like that trend really continued with Wayne as well. Like and then into Drake, obviously, and then now it's like pretty common for. Actually, I'll even back up and I'll say Luda was in that same flock, that same class of people.
I'll say. Now, see, when you talk about that, see, that's another piece of culture that people don't understand.
Is how feature rich the radio was in like the late 10s and the late aughts, early 10s.
Right, because when you transition from the 90s to the 2000s, obviously you had a lot of rappers coming up. You know what I'm saying? And they were on features, but around that time, nobody was on features like. No
one was doing features more than their own shit. That's the crazy part. Is that
saying. Like nobody was doing more features around this time. I'm gonna just say the rappers that were prominent around the time doing features. Nobody was doing features more than both Andre 3K and Andre 3K.
True, yeah.
Nobody was doing more features. Nobody was doing features than Fabulous, Ludacris, and then a young Lil Wayne was on hella features.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, so
nobody was doing features. Like
have you seen Wayne's stat line from like the late 2000s? Like I feel like there was one year where in the Billboard Top 100 he was on like 70 of the songs or some shit like that.
Yeah,
It shit was insane.
I remember this because it was around the time he dropped. It was around the time he dropped Dedication 3. It was around the time he dropped
Dedication
No, I'm
3?
sorry,
Carter
not
3.
Dedication 3. Not Dedication 3. It was around the time because it was the Drought 3. Then he dropped
Mm-hmm.
Dedication 3, and then he dropped Carter 3.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
around this,
That because
this time,
that was a godlike year though.
yeah,
The year Carter 3 dropped was a godlike year. Yeah, 2008.
2008 was a good. That's what I tell people in our generation. That was our golden year. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was dropping stuff.
Because wasn't that the
Young Jeezy dropped, T.I. dropped, Wayne obviously.
yeah?
I think Jay-Z was on hella features that year.
But
Kanye dropped
yeah, wait no, because Kanye dropped graduation that year.
Graduation.
Yo,
Yep.
oh my
Yep.
god. So
T-Pain dropped too.
wait, did you drop Epiphany that year or Three Rings? When did you drop Three Rings?
Three rings. Epiphany was 2 years before.
Okay, yeah. So because I remember three Rings dropped that same year.
Yep.
Because oh my god, yo, Three Rings. I remember because it was rumored at the time. This was like before before I really got into like the online sphere because as a kid, I'm a fucking child at that point. But I remember seeing that because Carter 3 had just dropped, Three Rings had just dropped, and there was rumors of a T-Pain Lil Wayne collab album that actually got released like 2 years ago. It got released 2 years ago when because T-Pain was like cleaning a hard drive and found it and just put it on SoundCloud. He was like, I mean, I have this, they don't want it, and then just put it on SoundCloud. It was all like unfinished stuff, but like
that was the year
he rap, he sang.
It was 2017. The mixtape was called. It was going to be called T Wayne.
Yeah, the T Wayne joint. Yep.
And somebody, he actually took art from a fan.
And just uploaded it straight to SoundCloud.
Yep. And used it as cover. Cover.
Yep. And the thing is, the songs that were finished were really good, and the songs that weren't finished had potential. You know what I'm saying?
Right.